this is Simply Sarah T, and I have come in with another question to pose to you with the election being only 7 days away now. So here we are, 7 days away from the most important election, I believe, in American history. And I just want to ask you, because I want you to be on the right side of history here. And what happens in this nation, America, what happens because you made the right decisions. And so yesterday I posed a question about what can you live with? Can you live with illegal immigration, having millions of undocumented immigrants come into our country, or foreign terrorists have access to our country, MS-13 gangs, drug cartels, traffickers come into our country? Can you live with having that many illegal immigrants come in and take away jobs, threaten your safety? Because they're not vetted. They have not gone through the process of being, looked at and investigated to know what type of people they are, if they have a criminal history. But I'm not here to speak about that. I spoke about that once. I posed the question. It's up to you to decide. My question today is, can you live with, if you sign on to such radical policies that the Democratic Party support, like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the most pro-abortion senator in Senate right now? And can you live with your signing on to that? You're being a participant in the massacre, the murder, because it's serial killing is what it is. It's serial killing. It is what they call legalized, what I want to call, and I will call legalized serial killing of the unborn, murder of the unborn. And God is clear. He's clear in his word. In Exodus 20, where he says, you shall not kill. In other words, you shall not murder. That word there means you shall not murder. And when you take innocent lives of the unborn that God himself has created in the womb of that mother, because it says in Psalm 139, for you, God, formed my inward parts in my mother's womb. And God himself also says in Jeremiah, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. God was aware of that child. He's the one that created that child, brought everything to existence. So you can cry out, my body, my choice. But God is the one that created that child. And he has said, you shall do no murder. And when you kill these babies that God has created, you're committing murder. So can you live with your part, knowing that you're helping others who are trying to legalize murder, to justify murder? Can you live with yourself, knowing that you've been a participant in that? Simply by your vote, you're voting for late-term abortion. You're voting for legalized serial killing, murder of the unborn. Innocent children in the womb. Yeah, they are babies, but they're human, and they have their lives taken away from them. These babies' lives matter. They matter to God, and they should matter to us, because I'm here because my mother carried me to full term and loved me. These babies need to feel loved. They need to feel like they're accepted. And I know people might think that's crazy, but these babies, their lives matter. No less than people running around and shouting Black Lives Matter. And they've killed more of their own black babies through abortions than cops killing blacks. I mean, it's just ridiculous, in my opinion. So can you live with signing on to with the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, who will continue to massacre unborn babies in the womb? And if they make it out of the womb, just before they make it out of the womb, or probably even if they make it out of the womb, they'll still murder them. And you're going to be a part of that? Can you live with yourselves knowing that one day you're going to stand before God and give an account? So that's something to think about. President Trump is pro-life. He's all for supporting the lives of the unborn. He doesn't fund Planned Parenthood. He doesn't fund this murderous organization. That's all it is. It's a crime organization. You know, murder of the assassins of the unborn babies. So can you live with that is my question. I would say to you, protect the lives of these unborn. And the way to do that is to vote for Trump-Pence. Don't become a participant in a crime against the innocent unborn. Infanticide. Do the right thing, America. Let's protect the lives of our innocent unborn.
I'm Dr. Norman McLean. I did practice within obstetrics and gynecology for nearly 40 years. I've done in the area of maybe 8,000 births. That would include maybe 2,000 cesarean sections. I have performed abortions early in my career. Over that time I would have certainly done between 1 and 200 terminations of pregnancy. So I know about the technique. Today I'm going to describe a first trimester surgical abortion, otherwise called a suction D&C, dilatation and curettage. This is the most frequently performed abortion technique and is typically performed between 5 and 13 weeks of pregnancy. After administering anesthesia, usually a sedative, the abortionist uses a speculum like this. This speculum is placed inside the vagina and then opened using the screw on the side, allowing the abortionist to see the cervix, the entrance to the uterus. The cervix acts as a gate that stays closed for the duration of pregnancy, protecting the baby until it is ready for birth. The abortionist uses a series of metal rods called dilators, like these, which increase in thickness and diameter, and the abortionist inserts them into the cervix progressively to dilate it, gaining access to the inside of the uterus where the baby resides. At this stage of pregnancy, the baby has a heartbeat, fingers, arms, and legs, but its bones are still weak and fragile. After the cervix is dilated, the abortionist will insert a suction catheter similar to this. This is a clear plastic catheter, firm, which has a hole through which the contents of the uterus are sucked, and these contents are dragged down and into either a syringe of this nature, a plastic syringe which can exert considerable force, or connected to a vacuum extractor, a mechanical electrical vacuum extractor. The suction machine has a force 10 to 20 times more powerful than the usual household vacuum cleaner. And using this technique, the baby is rapidly torn apart by the force of the suction and squeezed through the tubing, down the suction tube into the syringe or vacuum machine. Following the baby, the placenta is sucked out of the womb. Because the procedure is blind, that is, the abortionist is simply feeling what he is doing within the womb. One of the common problems is getting everything out, so that it's not unusual for parts of the baby to remain within the womb and parts of the placenta, which feed the baby, remain within the womb. This can lead to ongoing bleeding and infection. And in an attempt to prevent this, the abortionist will use a curette to scrape the lining of the uterus. A curette is basically a long-handled curved blade. Once the uterus is empty, the speculum is removed and the abortion is complete. The risks of suction D&C include damage to the organs, for example, perforation of the uterus or laceration of the cervix. Potentially, injury can occur to the intestines, the bladder, or nearby blood vessels. Hemorrhage and infection can occur, and in rare instances, even death. Future pregnancies are also at greater risk for loss or premature delivery due to abortion-related injury to the cervix or uterus. I stopped doing abortions because I realized this is not right. This is not what I should be doing. This is not the medicine, the life-giving, healing medicine that I wanted to practice. And from that day, I stopped.